What's up everybody? With Sigma and RollQ having now hit the live servers, there's already plenty of Overwatch hype in the air. But on top of these huge updates, there's even more to get excited about because a new Overwatch map is supposed to be coming in the very near future. Today I'm going to cover when we can expect the new map to release, what game mode it'll be, and where it might be located in the Overwatch universe. This is Master EN Gamer, and let's get into it. As many of you likely remember, back when Sigma first hit the PTR, Jeff Kaplan himself teased that there'd be another new content edition coming sometime in either late summer or early fall.
We have something exciting a month or two from now. Early fall, late summer. I don't know if it's late summer, early fall. I don't know when the seasons change, the official date. But there's something very cool happening around that time period. Cool announcement, late summer, early fall. Like around the time that people are going back to school. Let's just say that.
In addition to this, we got a dev forum post right before patch 1.39 went live, stating that a new PTR patch will be going up in the very near future, so there's no denying that something significant will be hot on the tails of both Sigma and RollQ. Now, a lot of people so far have speculated about what exactly this new content edition will be, but if we look at the Overwatch content release cycle, we can see that it should in fact be a new map. Every year since Overwatch launched, there's been a new map teased and put on the PTR in late August, which then goes to live servers in either early or mid-September. In 2016, we had Eichenwald, in 2017, Junkertown, and in 2018, Busan. While it's true that we've seen some schedule changes so far in 2019, most notably being Paris, Sigma, and the Summer Games, it's unlikely that we'll see further deviations from the schedule moving forward. Sigma and Summer Games are only swapped so that he'd release alongside RollQ, and the Paris map delay was likely a result of the internal problems Blizzard and Activision underwent in late 2018. So looking forward, we can expect the rest of 2019 to play out similarly to what we've seen in years past. Taking a look at the release dates of past fall Overwatch maps, we can make a fairly good estimate as to when we'll see the next one that's coming up. Focusing predominantly on Junkertown and Busan, which were the two most recent, they both hit the PTR in the latter third of August, around the same time that they were first revealed at Gamescom and the Korean Overwatch Fan Festival. Now, given that Blizzard has already announced that they won't be attending Gamescom this year, it will actually make it a bit harder to pin down the exact PTR date for the upcoming map, since we can't necessarily just go by the dates of the convention. However, based on the release schedules of past years, it's still very likely that we'll see the new map revealed and hit the PTR around this same time. Because of the release date of Sigma and RollQ, Blizzard will likely wait at least a week after those, meaning that at the absolute earliest, we could be seeing the map reveal on August 20th. But more than likely, they'll want to space things out a bit more than that, in which case the following week, being between August 26th and 30th, is a safer bet. It could possibly be even later than this and not get revealed until early September, but that would be really pushing the delay. So again, the best bet is on it being during sometime this final week of August, prior to RollQ becoming fully implemented into both quick play and competitive. After the new map is revealed at this time, it'll likely remain on the PTR for approximately 3 weeks, meaning that it'll go to live servers then sometime in mid-September. But looking at the map itself, the next things to consider are where it'll be located and what game mode it'll be. I'll cover the latter of these two questions first, as we can actually make a rather precise estimate for its game mode. In case it wasn't clear before, the new maps we see at these regular intervals throughout the year are always one of the 4 standard map modes for quick play and competitive, being Assault, Escort, Control Point, and Hybrid. Now, an important side note is that Blizzard has historically added new standard maps in their own sort of cycle based on these 4 modes. Since Overwatch launched, they've always added one of each of the 4 modes before adding a second of any given type. The first 4 went went Hybrid Control Assault Escort, followed by Hybrid Escort Control Assault, and now we're in the third wave of new maps, which has so far only included an Escort. Thus, the new map will have to be either Assault Control or Hybrid, but we can actually narrow it down even a bit further from here. Over the past 2 years, Overwatch has introduced a new map alongside the Archives event as the setting for the 2018 and 2019 event missions. Both of these were new Escort maps, which makes sense given that they're physically the largest and thus offer the most room for the PvE mission without needing to change or expand the existing map by much. However, with only 3 new maps added a year, we'll still be in Map Wave 3 by the time the 2020 Archives event rolls around. This means Blizzard won't be able to introduce another Escort map as the setting for the event, since Havana was already added as part of that same wave. It's possible that they'll just break away from this trend and set the mission on an existing map, but otherwise, the more likely alternative is that they'll set the 2020 Archives mission on a new Hybrid map instead. Hybrids are the next largest map type following Escort, so this would offer them the best opportunity without needing to design large map locations, which won't be present in non-Archives versions of that map. Thus, if Blizzard is planning to hold off on a new Hybrid map until next April's Archives event, this then leaves us with the remaining possibilities of Assault and Control Point for this fall. However, given that we just got Paris as an Assault map fairly recently, and Assault is generally people's least favorite map mode, this mode also seems kinda unlikely. So while it's possible that we could be getting any one of these 3, Control Point stands out as being the single most likely for the upcoming fall 2019 map. We'll have to wait and see to know for sure, but this is the one that I'd bet my money on. Moving now though to perhaps the most exciting part of discussing new maps, we have its location. The Overwatch universe is a fascinating place filled with countless people and places, most of which we've learned basically nothing about, but there are some leads we have for possible future map locations. The best place to start is by examining Overwatch heroes who currently aren't associated with any of the existing maps in game, and the two who have long stood out as the most estranged characters in this regard are Lucio and Symmetra. Neither one of these heroes have any solid ties to existing maps, and certainly can't call any of them home base. While Lucio does technically have the Rio de Janeiro Lucio Ball Arena, I think most people would agree that this really doesn't count in the same way as a standard year-round map. Getting a proper full-on Rio de Janeiro as a map for quick play and competitive would be a great way to flesh out his character, as well as Symmetra's, given that Vishkar has had a domineering presence in the South American city for quite some time. But speaking of Symmetra, I'm sure most of you realize that she has her own home map, which has been teased for a very long time at this point, and that's Utopia. Being the headquarters of Vishkar, Utopia is described as being an Indian city which was constructed entirely out of hard light. So far, we have yet to get any canon images of what Utopia actually looks like, but many people, myself included, have long wondered what a city of hard light might actually look like. What kind of architecture will it feature, and could the hard light aspect end up introducing some kind of new map gameplay mechanics? For these reasons, as well as a desire for more Symmetra and Vishkar backstory, Utopia has to be one of the single most anticipated new map locations in all of Overwatch. Looking at the other heroes, there's a number of Overwatch and Talon characters specifically, such as Mercy, Torbjorn, and Sigma, who don't directly tie to any specific map, aside from just their general faction associations. Any of these could easily get a map of possibly their hometowns, or at the very least, their nations of origin. For example, Soldier 76 hails from Indiana, so I'd love to see an American Midwest-inspired map set on either a farm or in some kind of small rural town, since that's a setting which would be rather unique from anything we've had so far, while at the same time possibly lending more backstory for Jack Morrison. We even see one of the old Overwatch map concepts depicting this kind of countryside aesthetic, although its name references a county in California rather than the Midwest. Looking at these other old map concepts though, they offer a number of further ideas which we may end up seeing added in the very near future. The Amazon and Bayou maps would make for some really cool and unique locations, although the abundance of trees and foliage on them would likely prove problematic to render. The India map is quite intriguing given what I mentioned earlier regarding Utopia likely being a future map, but of course we cannot forget my personal favorite early map concept, and that's Galapagos. The real-world Galapagos Islands are a fascinating place, and the sheer quantity of ecological data they provide make the idea of an Overwatch eco point set there a very realistic possibility. And if we're going to have a tropical island map, then why not have at least part of it take place in some kind of underwater dome or research station? This would actually work really well as a control point map. One of the locations would be in an enclosed undersea base, another location could be on the beach itself, and the third could either be some kind of ocean platform, or maybe more inland on one of the actual islands. Alternatively, if they don't want to set this kind of tropical aquatic map in the Galapagos, they could set it in Samoa instead. We have yet to get a proper Polynesian map in Overwatch, and on top of that, Samoa is the home country of the highly anticipated and confirmed future hero Malga. A map set here would not only offer a unique new location, but also could start to build up the backstory of a character who we know will one day be added into the game. While these have just been a few ideas for what the next upcoming Overwatch map might be, in reality there are countless locations which could end up making it into the game. We could very easily see another map like Paris, which has no existing story or hero ties, but rather fleshes out the world overall and introduces more potential story threads for the future. Because of this, I would love to hear your ideas for where the next map might be located, so be sure to drop a comment down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed this video, and share with a friend if you really liked it. Subscribe, follow me on Twitter, and hit up the bell to never miss any of my future Overwatch news and content. This is Master Ian Gamer signing off, and until next time, have a great day.